Sport on 4 now, and the West Indies take on Zimbabwe in one-day international cricket from Bristol.
Sport on 4 with Stepstone Online Recruitment.
The thrill of one-day international cricket comes to Bristol today and tonight. Now, assuming you've got the basics okay, what else might you need for this frantic brand of the game? Well, you'll need understanding, of course. Improvisation aplenty. And attention to detail. Atmosphere, well, that'll take care of itself down at Neville Road, and save a few old shillings for the metre, because the triangular tournament begins now with West Indies and Zimbabwe.
Andy, we haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. What have you been up to?
We've been touring England and popped into Ireland and been playing a few counties and against the West Indies in a 3-day and against New Zealand in a 1-day. So we've been fairly busy. I haven't had many days off, but it's been a more relaxed period of time, and we've played some nice cricket.
But you've managed to pick up a couple of injuries.
Yeah, just recently Streaky dived on his shoulder in practice, and I'm not sure how quickly that injury is going to recover. And we've got Henry Olonga back with us, but unfortunately after bowling in a couple of the warm-up games, that ankle injury has recurred. So the younger guys, the backup bowlers, have to step into the breach and do the business.
Now, Zimbabwe creating history today, playing in the first Floodlit International in England, but not against England.
No, it's not, but we meet them soon enough in a couple of days' time. We haven't beaten the West Indies in a one-day match, actually. I think they're the only nation we haven't beaten.
And confirmation there that both he, Streak, and Henry Olonga are missing. Big blow for Zimbabwe, but they are a team of fighters, no question about that. Floodlights for the first time in a triangular tournament in Britain, and that is an excitement in itself. The West Indies, no Ambrose, no Walsh, no Sherwin Campbell, but Ricardo Powell is there, and he is a cricketer to revel in.
It's the way the pitch looked at the toss today. Toss won by West Indies, who decided to bat. There are some cracks there, but they're not very wide. It's a day-night match, 50 overs maximum each side, and it looks as though it'll play pretty well.
Yes, it was a slowish start against tight bowling. The West Indians didn't seem to be able to break the shackles at all. There wasn't a great deal of pace in the pitch, and even when Griffith looked to attack, it was pretty hard to do. Dermot Reeve is with me.
Well, they'd scored only 10 runs off 8 overs when Griffiths went aerial, and he only got the single for his efforts. It was good tight bowling by Zimbabwe at the beginning of the innings.
And then we saw finally the sort of stroke that we know that Chris Gayle is capable of. He's one of the most promising young cricketers the West Indies have seen for a long, long time, and a very good one to watch as well.
No worries about that. That has been hit with tremendous power and beautiful timing. No ball called. He could have got one for a wide, but he chose to take 4 for the stroke away through the covers.
Wide delivery, had to reach for it, down on his knees. A wonderful shot from Chris Gayle, typically West Indian. Just look at the flow.
Not far away. Lecky and Carla has just been getting the ball to come back a fraction. Well, that one was reasonably close, but he's getting a decent stride in, so That would be the only thing that's helped him with umpire Peter Willey. Oh, what a beauty. These two batsmen now, particularly Gale, just starting to float.
Manhattan starting to climb. Feel like a bat as well. Viv Richards probably looking at this period of play so far.
In the air. And safely held. Gary Brent, the man coming around from rather wideish mid-off. There's a miscued stroke there. Just didn't get it off the middle of the bat. First wicket goes down. 33 on the board.
So simple catch to mid-off. Therefore, Brent, the man feeling at mid-off, and he will be absolutely distraught. Adrian Griffith gone for 10. The West Indies are now 33 for 1.
That's a beautiful stroke. Chris Gale has played 3 or 4 of those now. Brilliant cricket.
Yeah, Chris Gale, one of the 7 left-handers in the first 8 in the West Indian batting order, and he the man that brought up the 50 for the West Indies. 51 for 1. They've been out there just under an hour, and the Manhattan chart shows that they are picking up the pace.
Great shot, skipping down the wicket. 1 bounce, 4 over mid-wicket. Chris Gale has timed that sweetly.
Why not take the aerial route? There's a lot more space up there.
View from the stump cam. Good use of the feet. Took advantage of the fact that Andy Flower was stood back. There's a man out there. He'll cut it off. They'll get back for 2. Wavell Hines favouring the offside at the moment. Beautiful shot. That is big. That's enormous. Straight over the side screen. Lovely full swing of the bat by Wavell Hines. He knew he had connected. He didn't bother moving. It's split the fielders. Fine shot. Wavell Hines enjoying his time at the crease now. Took him a while to get going.
Yes, he really is showing the fluency we saw from him at Lord's in the Test match.
A reminder of Adrian Griffith as the only wicket to have fallen so far, and also of Jeremy Lloyds, the only one-day international for him so far, and nice that it should be on one of his home grounds here at Bristol. Now, if the West Indies went along at 6 and over, they could get up to 250. They'd have to push on, and they'd need this man, Brian Lara, to pull something out of the hat. The rate only so-so, one would say, at the moment, Dermot.
Wavell Hines was quick on anything short. He was favouring the offside. But here, Gary Brent dropping short, and that was the 50 partnership between Wavell Hines and Chris Gale. And it slowed up a bit. Zimbabwe kept them in check, as you can see from the Manhattan. Not too many overs scoring more than 5.
Have to hurry. Oh, it's at the wrong end. Now there must be a run out. Well, I'm convinced, absolutely convinced that Gale could have got back had he gone back. But he was so determined to pass Hines. Hines wasn't going to give away an inch of ground, and consequently the mix-up has happened, and to the cost of Chris Gale's wicket.
Rather disappointing end as well. It's a good piece of fielding. It's a return to the keeper at the wrong end. Both batsmen struggling and getting into the same crease almost. Yes, they did. It's a very good take by Andy Flower, and had the calmness and the sense of direction to throw it to the bowler's end. No problems at all. So Chris Gale gone for 41, 101 for 2.
Here's Brian Lara, and we can safely say that he's the man the crowd have been waiting for. Just about the most thrilling individual player in the world. You might put Sachin Tendulkar into that bracket. Griffith and Gale, the men to have gone 10 and 41 respectively. Hines unbeaten with 41, Lara with just a single. It's 104 for 2 after 30 overs. And the wicket taker, and Kala, 6 overs, 1 for 21. Of course, the other wicket was a run out, and a very good bit of cricket by Zimbabwe. A beauty. Just flex the muscles a bit and climb into it.
But there's no threat to life or limb from the Zimbabwe bowlers, just above medium pace. No threat to Lara.
Another good one from Lara. The chase is on and will fade. Good hit. Really good batting, that. The width was the thing that made it possible, and when he saw it a bit wide, he just threw his arms at it.
It's a good hat. And a good hit as well.
Nice work. Grant Flower's a good natural athlete, and he has got a terrific throw.
Significant differences between these two West Indies left-handers, Hines on the left and Lara on the right. See how much Lara on the right moves before the ball has arrived, whereas Hines really has stayed quite still. And also Lara's backlift very upright towards the sky. Hines really only taking it back about stump high. But it's the main thing is Lara's moved already into the ball and all his body's going into the shot, whereas Hines is really all hands, much freer but less controlled.
That's 50 for Wavell Hines. The third one that he's made. He's relatively new to this West Indies side. He's the most promising player. Heck, what are those? I think we had some bees going. And he's dead right, Alistair Campbell. Lie low and let him go. In fact, they're all lying low. We have a swarm of bees here at Bristol. Hines looking to go down the wicket. And caught! Beautifully caught by Craig Wishart.
Just as I was saying that Villian would have done well, 8 overs to 29. On comes Flower and he gets the breakthrough. It is difficult to get away the spinners on this pitch. Wavell Hines gone for 51, 135 for 3.
I think one of the keys was not to hit across the ball. The odd time that Lara tried it, it didn't really work. His miscue to where mid-off would have been. And the best of Lara was definitely when he was hitting offside or hitting down the ground. In fact, that applied to just about all of the West Indian batsmen. That sort of stroke was easier to play Dermot than anything across the line.
Absolutely right, and Ricardo Powell showed his strength from the moment he came to the crease. This one was catchable, but it was through Grant Flower before he dived. The innings progressing, 3.97 at this stage.
That's good acceleration, actually. They were gradual to start with, and they've just picked up the rate. The odd shout against Lara, but no sort of real alarms. It was harder to play against the spin. I thought Grant Flower came on and did very well. 158 for 3 after 40 overs at this stage of the innings.
Oh, he's hit that hard. He's hit that very hard.
He's a very dangerous player. We saw him play on this ground last year in the World Cup against Pakistan. He holed out to mid-off before he'd even attempted to get himself set. And that's one of the problems with him. But he is a wonderful striker of the ball. It's a wonderful stroke. A very dangerous cricketer, Ricardo Powell. There wasn't all that bad a delivery, and he's just picked it up off his toes and hit it away over mid-wicket. Fielder out at long on had no chance at all.
He looks a very strong young man. Picks his bat up pretty late. Gives it a full follow-through.
It was a good try. I thought he might have had a go at one earlier out there at deep backward square leg.
Well, it was very positive feeling. Guy Whittle attacking this delivery. Lobbed up in front of him. He dived forward. Didn't quite carry.
Well, that's a biggie.
Brilliant batting from Ricardo Powell. Didn't look like he picked the slower ball up straight away. But when he did, he had time to hold back. There, he just held his shot, swung through the line, and he knew that was a 6 all the way. He's raced to 36 off only 22 deliveries.
This time, it's going to be difficult to judge. It's getting away from him, but he's done it nicely in the end. Well, that was slicing away. It didn't come off the middle of the bat from Ricardo Powell. And in the end, it was a very, very good performance to get around, running around to his left.
Grant Flower, the fielder, he made very good ground, kept his eye on the ball all the way. Must have known he was very close to the boundary. Very well judged. Powell's gone for 36, 191 for 4.
The lights on and doing their bit in the late afternoon as the sun rather departed and things got a touch gloomier. 203 for 4, 4 overs left of the innings, and Lara looking to get after everything. He kind of set himself up. He played a number of outstanding strokes, but you almost felt he was waiting his moment, and when it came, it was all or nothing.
This was 2 balls later. That brought up Brian Lara's 50. Gary Brent at this stage was trying to get the ball right up in the block hole. Better advised next time to try and go round the wicket and cramp the left-hander for room.
Yes, there hadn't been any effort or any real effort against any of the West Indian left-handers to bowl around the wicket from the Zimbabweans. It may be that they're not comfortable doing it. Lara moving on to 53, just faced 59 balls, and the big one.
Straight down the ground. Again, just short of the block hole, short of the Yorker by Brent. Right in the slot for Lara. No mistake. Took it to 217.
Lovely to see that full flush.
Brian Lara's power and flamboyance is well known, but not so much his deftness and dexterity. Very good at pushing little singles into the gap. That's a beautiful example, just a little dab on the offside. And this one too, stroked away, really finding the gaps cleverly. Looking for all the little possibilities for run making. Again, a lovely little dab on the offside, and this one here just pushed neatly between mid-wicket and square leg for another single. A lot of these singles coming off the last ball of the over. Brian Lara, he loves keeping the strike.
There you go. Nicely done. Brian Powell deserved that. He's kept his head out there, and it's very important in a situation like this where you have such a brilliant player in good form, and he's holed out to the man at extra cover. Lara goes.
It was good captaincy too. Andy Flower moved Neil Johnson from on the single to on the ring. He didn't have to move a muscle. Straight at him, a fine innings from Brian Lara. Caught Johnson, bowled Grant Flower for 60.
Well, he's given that one. It's a slower ball again.
Don't change it if it's not broken. Slower ball working very well in this over. Striking Franklin Rose on or just perhaps outside off stump. Jeremy Lloyd says it's good enough for me. Have a shower. Rose has gone for a duck. West Indies 2-2-3 for 6.
The final over, the 50th in this first day-night international, to be bowled by Grant Flower. Beautiful work. Splendid work there by Grant Flower. He had to go away to his right-hand side to gather that ball in, and the run out came very, very well done.
McLean's gone for 2. West Indies 2-2-5 for 7.
And not quite the flurry at the end that the West Indies might have liked. 232 for 7. Jacobs being unbeaten with 16. Adams with just a couple. Lara the star of it. Hines played awfully well. Gale as well. One wondered whether that was a good score or not. Around about par, I think, was the sort of guess. A wicket for Nkala, 2 for Gary Brent, 2 for Grant Flower. I thought he was a key figure at the end. 6 overs for 27, 2 wickets with his left arm spin was a very decent effort. A few peaks in that Manhattan chart, otherwise steady blocks of scoring.
Sport on 4 with Stepstone Online Recruitment. Sport on 4 with Stepstone Online Recruitment.
I think these white balls are going to have more impact on the outcome of this game than the pitch itself. This is the new white ball the West Indies will have to bowl with. White balls tend to swing quite a lot in English conditions, particularly at night with the extra moisture in the atmosphere. They might have a little bit of trouble controlling their line early on because they're not used to the ball swinging a lot, West Indies fast bowlers. Later on in the innings, in contact with the dry, cracked pitch, the ball does get quite scuffed. It's quite hard to time, so it'll be easier probably for the bowlers then. It's important for West Indies that they bowl straight and full early on so that the Zimbabwe side don't get off to a flyer. Now, it's noticeable also that the wicket was proving quite hard for the batsman to time the ball, quite slow. When Lara first came in, he had trouble. He was trying to clip this one through mid-wicket, and the slowness of the wicket meant he got a leading edge, and he was almost caught by the mid-off fielder running in. So he decided the best route was to hit the ball over the top with as much power as he could muster. That was a beautiful straight 6, and I think that the aerial route for vigorous batsmen is probably the best option on this slow pitch.
A reminder for you, 232 for 7 the West Indies, 233 to win it at just over 4.5 and over for Zimbabwe, and the West Indies helped them at the start with some very indifferent fielding, Dermot.
Yeah, it was poor. Merv Dillon on the boundary, missed this one, and it went for a valuable boundary. They also didn't bowl too well at the beginning. There were 10 extras in the first 20 runs, and the captain wasn't too impressed.
No, I mean, I think the important thing for the West Indies was to remember to pitch the ball up. With their pacier bowlers, they were likely to come onto the bat better than the Zim bowlers.
Got him. Well caught. Ricardo Powell has done very well there. He's had to get away to his left. First of all, he's had to pick the ball up in the air. It's gone over the gully area. Then he's had to get himself in a position. He's a long way away from it, but he made beautiful ground.
Greg Wishart has gone for 7. Zimbabwe at 24 for 1.
That's the sort of player he is. He's quite dangerous up the top of the order. He Alan Johnson comes out, and once he gets a sight of it, then he tries to play his shots all the time. That's a really good stroke. Longer is just pointing out the problems he's having with his ankle and the torn ligaments. Heath Streak on the left damaged his shoulder in fielding practice. Got one of the best fast bowlers in the world, and he's running around out there hurling balls, and he's damaged his shoulder. And he's played 2 shots, one on the offside through extra cover, and then that one off his toes with a roll of the wrists on each occasion. Beautiful shot. 36 for 1 and 7 gone.
It's all gone horribly wrong for King, but a good shot. Leg stump half volley. Johnson having no problems at all whipping that away to the mid-wicket boundary. Murray Goodwin says he's had enough after this series playing for Zimbabwe. He's looking to return to Australia. Grew up in Perth, playing his cricket on the hard bouncy pitches there. It's a very good square of the wicket on both sides.
Well, it'll go into the scorebook, and it won't go in as one where he is beaten for pace. Ball came off a rather thickish top edge.
Bit of extra pace from Franklin Rose. Pulling at it, Murray Goodwin, top edge. Almost carrying for 6. Straight over the head of the slips and keeper. Just a couple of feet short. I'm not impressed, says Franklin Rose.
That's safe and almost 6 again. He tried to hook Franklin Rose in Rose's last over, just landed a yard or so inside the boundary. That one also. Fierce stroke.
More control problems here for the West Indies. Too wide, too full. Murray Goodwin once again capitalizing over backward point. 4 more.
Well, he quite likes that shot. It's in limited overs cricket, it's one of Goodwin's favourites. He doesn't hang back from it, he deliberately hits it in the air. 50 up for Zimbabwe, and we're into the 10th over. Well, that one didn't go in the, well, it went in the air for a yard or 2. It was a beautiful shot from Murray Goodwin. The Zimbabwe 50 came up in 62 balls compared with 93 for the West Indies.
This is a great shot. In the air for some time, but hit like a rocket.
Out, gone. This time it went in the air, but the man in there at cover has snaffled it. Franklin Rose has picked up the wicket. Expensive, but very beneficial. Another wicket down.
And as I was saying, if they could maintain it, and they obviously couldn't. Wrong ball, wrong shot on the up. Disappointing. 11 off the over, and he gives it away, Murray Goodwin. Gone for 23, 57 for 2.
2 down for Zimbabwe. Wishart out for 7, Goodwin 23.
A mixed and eventful over from Franklin Rose here. First one to Murray Goodwin, an absolute beauty, beating the outside edge. A repeat second ball, which was unfortunately a no ball. Then he straightens too much and neatly pushed away for 2. Then the 4th ball, really not a very good ball, smashed away over the top for 4 by Goodwin. And the same to the 5th, far too wide, driven beautifully through the covers. Much, much better, the 6th ball. And then the extra ball of the over. Goodwin a bit punch drunk, called it cover. Quite an eventful over.
Creamed it. All of a sudden, Campbell making life look just as easy as Johnson manages to.
So well timed this by Alistair Campbell.
15 overs of the innings gone, so the field can spread a bit if it wants. West Indies 50 for 1 at this stage in their innings. Zimbabwe 83 for 2. It's a handy start. Oh, well bowled, really well bowled. Top pace, a bit of movement. That was a vicious delivery.
Bounce and movement for Dillon. Across the left-hander. Thinnest of edges. It's gone very quickly to Ridley Jacobs, up around 85 miles an hour. Campbell's gone for 17, 90 for 3.
This is the captain of the hugely successful Gloucestershire, Mark Lane. Minimum of effort and almost maximum of effect. Probably the moment of the day for me.
It's brought up the Zimbabwe 100. Their captain just leaning on this cover drive.
Evening, Courtney.
It's been a little bit of a hiccup in the last 6 or 7 overs. Zimbabwe got away to a very good start and it's just slowed down a little bit now. And that's a big edge, or it seemed like a big edge. No one's making a move, particularly the batsman, and even more particularly the umpire, who's Jeremy Lloyds. Well, as the ball went past the bat, there didn't seem to be any change in the seam. It was just in its normal rotating action as it went past the bat. Perhaps the noise came at a different time from when it was level with the bat. He's flailed that away on the offside. There's a little bit of frustration getting into it there for Andy Flower, but it's taken Zimbabwe to 128 for 3, 28 gone. That's a good hit. Beautifully played.
Zimbabwe going well, 30 overs gone, only 3 wickets down, 97 to win. And Neil Johnson still there, 43 not out. He's very much been the linchpin of this innings so far.
Now West Indies 104 for 2, Zimbabwe 136 for 3 at the same time. That's after 30 overs.
Yes, because the seamers were a bit too short and both sides of the wicket, on came Chris Gale, and there was some very clever cricket at this stage by Andy Flower, who had the intelligence not to overdo it against Gale, but to sort of milk him a bit.
Yeah, he improvised very well. There was a gap over extra cover. He did that twice. And then a lovely fine sweep, beating the man at 45, going all the way to the boundary.
147 for 3 in the 33rd over. He moves to 50. Really good way to go there. Seemed to make that stroke look very straightforward, and I guess that's the way to do it. Keep it simple. Lovely play.
What a good 50 it was as well for Neil Johnson. He's anchored the innings very well. Usually the type of player that likes to dash the ball around the park.
Good example of one-day improvisation here from Andy Flower. That's neatly paddled away from a ball just outside leg stump from Chris Gale. And the very next delivery, the same line, and he smashed it away through the offside in the opposite corner of the ground. Now you'll see these two balls pitch in almost exactly the same place, just outside the leg stump, full of a length, but by improvisation and good footwork, they're deposited to opposite corners of the ground.
Edged, got it. Needed a little juggling performance. It is the end for Andy Flower. They thought they'd got him a long time ago. They have now.
It's good thinking by Jimmy Adams as well to maintain the slip in position for Ryan King. Short on the off stump, try to force it. Is a juggling act by Gale, but he got it right the second time. And King is happy, he's successful. He's got the breakthrough. Andy Flower gone for a well-played 42, 160 for 4. 68 runs still required, 78 balls. Once it stays below a run of ball, Zimbabwe will always feel that they're in with a chance.
That is unlucky. All those years honing the straight drive.
The reason that was such a good shot, not only because it was crashed and crashed straight, but the mid-on and mid-off are up in the circle. And you can't get it much straighter than that. I felt that even from here.
That time it worked. So all those years honing it were worthwhile.
Almost an instant replay.
Oh, how about that follow it too? Goodness me, Johnson is such a good attacker of the ball. 2 delightful strokes back to back. It climbed into it, and the crowd got enormous pleasure out of it. You could almost feel the whole ground going, oh!
Brilliant, excellent, even superb. Climbed on it and hit it well in front of square.
First time in the one-day game, we say that, of course, is the one place you can't defend.
And this is the difference between the two teams. Good edge, flying away. There was a slip in place for Flower, none for Johnson. And because of the extra pace of the West Indians, it's been much easier to get the ball behind square towards the boundary. Not missing it by much, Ridley Jacobs. Agonizingly close.
10 overs left then in the run chase, 42 to win the game, and Neil Johnson going like a train. Smashed away, and that's 4. Now the third umpire will look at that and will reckon that the moment the fielder was picking the ball up, he had his foot over the line.
Here's a bit of insight into how Zimbabwe work together. It's a neat clip off his toes by Neil Johnson. High on adrenaline, he wants to come back for 2, but Grant Flower firmly says, no, don't come back. And just look at Johnson here, walking up the wicket, having a little word with Grant Flower. And it's a complimentary word. Thanks, mate. That was a really good call. That's how Zimbabwe make the most of limited resources.
Just out of the reach of the bowler and splitting the bowler and the man at mid-on quite beautifully. Powerful stroke.
The bowler Merv Dillon thought he just had a slight chance at this. That was hit so well by Johnson. It's another boundary. Johnson moves on to 88.
There was a time when the Zimbabwean batsmen were struggling just a little bit in the middle. There was a period of about 10 overs there from 16 onwards where they had trouble getting the ball away. And then in the last 7 or 8 overs, they've really done well. Oh, I rather like that. I bet Grant Flower does as well. He has given that a tremendous hammer.
Straight out of the middle of the bat.
Oh, there's a good shot. Well, it's provided 2 glorious strokes. One the 6 and then a classic cover drive away through extra cover. 227 for 4, and we're coming into the 45th over.
The last 7 overs, Zimbabwe have scored 62 runs and haven't lost a wicket.
233 the required total, so they just need 2 to win. No problems about that. Plenty of wickets and plenty of balls in hand. He's taken the single, and there'll be a good chance here that Grant Flower will play this ball and then give Johnson a go to hit a 5 or a 6. He's played doggo. Johnson has a chance of getting 100, and it's 232 for 4. Scores tied after 45. Now Jimmy Adams is the bowler. Well, that's a slightly unusual thing to do. However, Neil Johnson's not going to be too worried about it. He's guided Zimbabwe to a splendid victory here against West Indies.
Yeah, Neil Johnson deserving 100. Great support from the Flower brothers, and a really good innings too from Murray Goodwin there at number 3. A wicket for King, 2 for Rose, 1 for Mervyn Dillon. Though you have to ask yourself, why didn't Jimmy Adams bowl more with his slow left armers? The West Indies 232 for 7. Zimbabwe 233 for 4. No doubt about it, Zimbabwe's slower bowlers were more effective on that pitch. The West Indians came onto the bat and lots of runs were scored behind the wickets. Here is our Man of the Match award winner.
We knew that 230 was a pass score, but not a good score, and if I hung in there right through to the end, we'll win the game.
Was it the